Hi, my name is Mary Lou Brown, and this is my daughter Ashley Brown. We run Maple Breeze Farm. We own and operate 6 chicken houses, and we grow approximately 130,000 birds at a time every time we put birds down. So in reality, the what we produce on this farm, those people that sit in Raven Stadium for a football game on a Sunday afternoon, we can feed each and every one of them for a year. We are standing in an acre piece of Mosquito Pot. It is a sterile grass, so the fuzzies that are above us will not cause it to propagate. We planted rhizomes from the beginning um, in a single row, and now that you can see that they have kind of expanded out, and it's real thick. It is good for chicken litter. They have run tests on it, and now there are companies on the eastern shore of Maryland and in North or South Carolina that use this for their chicken litter, and it works very well. What you see behind me are the solar panels that totally power this farm, 6 chicken houses. They were built in 2014. I was paying a utility bill of about $30,000 a year to power our chicken houses, and now I pay $10,000 to $12,000 a year. That's how much it dropped. In August of this coming year, I will pay these panels off, and so I was able to finance them. On this particular poultry farm, we do every best management practice that we can. Um, right behind me, you see the buffer strip that we planted completely around the chicken houses. It protects the farm from the road, and also it provides a great windbreak. And then another best management practice is the cement pads that we have at all our doors on the chicken houses, and we have expanded them. All CAFOs are zero discharge permits. This CAFO is unique in the fact that we have a buffer built over here to the right of these 3 chicken houses that prevents water from running off from the farm at all. We have no runoff. Every flock, between flocks, the big deal is to handle the manure properly. And we'll crust out, and what you see behind me on your left is the crust out from our chicken houses from our last flock. And that is used in our composting operation. We use this crust out to compost our birds. And on the side of this building, we have a composter. What you see behind me, all of this goes to a local farmer who buys it from me, and he uses it on his crops according to the nutrient management plan. All this is tested, so he knows exactly what's in it. In fact, he likes to compost the best.
Before we put anything down, we have to make sure that our litter is ready to go for new chicks. So we do windrows, and there's usually 3 to 4 piles in the middle of our chicken houses. What that does, that heats up the litter, and it breaks down any bacteria from the last flock, and it breaks it down, so it kind of makes it almost brand new for the baby chicks that are going to come in. And that gets turned once and then is set again for a couple more days after it's been spread out and leveled. Then we have something called A7 or alum that gets put down. That ties up the ammonia in the litter. It is really important to have extra feed down for the baby chicks because they grow a lot in about a week, and you want as much feed down as possible. And the paper here has feed on it also. And where you see these lines that are raised, the water lines, so when they come in, they're going to put the birds down right in this area. So they usually put them right down on the paper. As you can see, there are curtains. There's a curtain behind me, and then there's a curtain on that end. What you see here is the brood chamber. This is where the baby chicks will stay 7 to 10 days. The temperature is extremely important when baby chicks come in. Right now, the temperature is 93.
So, and what you're hearing behind us is a heater running. We have 7 sets of heaters in this particular house that are tied to a sensor. and there are 7 sensors, and we are tied to this chicken house the entire time the birds are in here. I have on my phone, we get called the moment that the temperature varies 7 or 10 degrees.
We have it's an app on our phones that we can actually we have the controller sitting on our phone. So it's not that we don't come here to the farm if we get an alarm, but it's nice to see when either we can't get here right away just to see what's going on.
Our service person will come in here in the next few hours, and he will take CO2 tests and ammonia tests, and they have to be at a certain level in order for bird comfort. So everything is tested out, and we are giving guidelines for setup purposes. So this is brooding. This is what brooding is. Now we'd like to show you what it looks like when you have chickens brooding. Today we're standing in a chicken house that received chickens yesterday, a little over 24 hours ago. We have currently 26,000 birds in here. As you can see, the birds are eating and drinking. They are on the paper around the turbo pans that have the extra feed in them. And these birds are happy little birds. As some of the environmental things that we do in this house, the lights that I have are all LED lights. These are 15-watt LEDs. Later on, we will give them 8 hours of darkness for sleep, and we find that they grow better that way. They need rest just like we do. And we also have these radiant tube heaters that really do a great job of heating. These birds go out at 56 days, 55, 56 days. They will be 9 pounds when they go out. Okay. Each house is equipped with fail-safe and backup fans. What happens is if the house reaches a certain high temperature, the backup fans, which are big 52, in this house 54-inch tunnel fans, will kick on to keep the birds comfortable. Automatically. We have backups in another way. If we lose water from our well in this house, we have a back feed from our other house's wells in order to keep water to the birds at all times.
So every day we walk the house, we check to make sure everything's working, if the birds are comfortable, which is the primary thing, is to make sure birds are comfortable. We make sure that they have feed and water all the time, that they have access to it all the time.
If I'm not comfortable when I walk in the house, my chickens are not comfortable. I need to be comfortable, then I know the birds are comfortable. I have to admit, 93 degrees right now is not comfortable, but they love it. So they go from 93 down to 60 degrees by the end of the flock. And it is on a temperature curve, and it ramps down. COVID was a challenge for the poultry industry. We had to, just on this farm alone, we had to change some management practices. What we found was the processing plant was the canker to the whole industry. We had to slow our chickens down because when you're dealing with a live product, it's on a timetable and everything's scheduled out. What happened with us was we lucked out. COVID hit, really became strong about the second week into one of our flocks. We had to change some management practices we did with the flock to slow them down, which the chickens adjusted and they didn't really slow down. And, but we really were fortunate. A plant got all its lines processing again, then they didn't have enough birds to run through it, and was a plant that ran processed birds smaller than what I normally grow, and he took my birds at 49 days and processed them. And then because they were worried that they were going to need the bigger birds in the fall, it turned around that we had a 21-day layout, which is ideal in the chicken industry. In the end, we really did make out well. But COVID, we found out the processing plant was the canker, but I am confident that the processing plants have made the employees feel comfortable and that they feel safer coming to work than going anywhere else. So I think we're in good shape right now with whatever happens.